Hello, besties. Welcome to another episode of Your New B.F.F. I'm your host, Sophie, and in this podcast, we chit chat all about positivity, realness, and the journey to your highest self. After this episode, I want you to leave feeling inspired and high vibe. So let's tune in because I'm so excited you're here with me today. Hello, besties. Welcome back to another episode of Your New BFF. So excited, as always, to be here with you guys today. This is officially the second YouTube podcast episode that I am posting. And thank you guys for tuning in today. I set my intention and my energy for today to deliver the best message that I can for you guys. I tap into my intuition. I connect with any angel messages that I've received in the week, signs, anything that has come up in my journey, that I've thought about, that I've read about, that I just feel is important to maybe share, or that I feel divinely guided to share on my platform, my small but mighty platform. And I can't wait to see it continue growing. I did do some self tanning today, so FYI, if I have some little self tanner spots, please ignore them. We're now on video, so can't get away with those things anymore. If you guys are new here, I start each podcast episode with a quote that's going to lead us into today's chit chat. Today's quote is by Robert II. Once you learn how to create your own happiness, no one can take it from you. I love this quote so much, and it's going to lead us into today's chit chat perfectly because today I want to talk to you guys, talk to my besties about not relying on external shit basically for your happiness. How much of your happiness are you putting in the hands of external? When we start to base our happiness on external factors, this is the moment that you're basically giving up your autonomy and subconsciously or consciously start comparing ourselves to others and start engaging in complex, insecure, low vibrational behaviors and feelings and thoughts. And when we start feeling and having those thoughts of comparison, inadequacy, and insecurity because we're basing our happiness on external shit, this is going to start making us feel that way. It's going to start making us feel not worthy, not adequate enough. And when we're having those feelings, we feel anxiety. The constant comparison, and I have an episode all about comparison, you guys, and it's called, I'm going to link the podcast episode in the show notes if you guys want to tap into that episode. But the constant comparison, and I believe comparison comes a lot from placing our value and our happiness and our self worth on external shit. It's toxic, the constant comparison, and you'll never ever feel enough. So, no matter how much you try to compare, no matter how much you try to one up, no matter how many things you try to copy and maybe take from external shit, like if I get this, then I'll be happy. If this person says this, then I'll be happy. The more you chase that, the further you get into these feelings of insecurity, complexity, insecurity, giving you anxiety, and it starts the downward spiral, as I like to call it. A lot of the times that the majority of people or of us that start placing our worth on external validations, it can sometimes be like the obvious things like, okay, once I get this job, once I get this position, then I'll be happy. Or once I get this car, then I'll be happy. Once I get to move out of my parents' house, then I'll be happy. Once I get the relationship that I'm manifesting, that's when I'm going to be fully happy. And we have all kind of been there at one point, right? I feel like everyone has felt this, even if it's just for a moment. But nowadays, a lot of this self worth and value also comes from social media. How many likes? Once I get this amount of likes, once I get this amount of followers, and it's never enough, right? Once you get to 20K, then once you get to 100K, then once you get to a million. We all understand the balance, right? Because I'm not saying don't have goals, don't have dreams. I'm not saying don't want material shit. What we're talking about here is when you are placing your entire happiness and your overall well being on this. So basically, what I'm saying is, I won't be happy until I get this. This is what we're talking about. What starts to happen is you slowly start depending on external things for your happiness and to feel fulfilled or to feel worthy or to feel enough. And what starts to happen is that just becomes more detrimental. You start getting into your self esteem just naturally will start to dwindle down and you'll start to go down that spiral. And this is when a lot of us will start relying our happiness on people and start maybe basing our adequacy on what people might think about us or what people might say about us or people's opinions about us. And the thing is, besties, is that all of these things are outside of our control. What other people say about us, right? If other people like us, other people's opinions about us, all of these things can change. Somebody can love you one day and the next day switch up, right? We don't have control over some things. And when we're relying on other people or on outside shit for our happiness, we will feel helpless and in very bad shape when these outside circumstances change or might not be there anymore. When you're constantly placing your happiness in the hands of other people, you're going to be left feeling disappointed and helpless because people change like seasons and just like we do. And while you're doing that at the same time, you're putting emotional stress on the relationship, which is draining the relationship and causing people to maybe distance themselves because this puts strain on the relationship. We can't control how somebody else feels or thinks about us. We need to let others think freely and feel freely. The consistent and prolonged actions and feelings of putting your happiness on other people, besties, eventually happen is, like I said, like you lose your autonomy and it's just like not cute. And I'm not trying to like bash anybody or like talk bad about it at all because I have been there before. People I love have been here before. And I think it's just natural and part of human life. And the whole point of this episode is to talk about the manifestation journey together. And it's never, ever, ever to try to make people feel bad. This is just to bring mindfulness and self awareness so we can grow ourselves and love ourselves and prioritize our self growth. So, when you feel like your emotional state is constantly being controlled by others and what's going on outside of you and around you, this leaves you feeling powerless, vulnerable because you're not in control, bestie. Like at that point, you've just given your happiness to somebody else. Relying on other people, it's gonna make you feel insecure. It's gonna bring up self esteem issues and the it's going to bring all the frequencies and energies that are in that downward spiral that I always talk about. People want to be around someone that's happy, right? You want to be around a group of people and circle that's happy, that can harness their own happiness and bring that to the table and share that energy with you, right? But most importantly, bestie, you want to be living in your mind and in your body feeling happy. You want to be happy, right? You want to feel happy. You don't want to base that on somebody else. And I want that for all of you. I want everyone to be able to harness that happiness within themselves without having to look anywhere. You don't have to grab your phone. You don't got to talk to your man. You don't got to talk to your family. You are happy. You will learn and have learned through this journey how to harness self love. And it's such a huge and imperative part of up leveling and getting our life to the next level, besties. Not relying on outside shit and just knowing you yourself are enough and you don't need nobody the fuck else, right? You yourself have all it takes. Over time, people pleasing and validation and basing your happiness on all this shit is just gonna take away your self identity. It's gonna strip you of all of that. And it's just gonna have you feeling in that downward spiral, like I've told you, just not in a good place. Like your identity is gonna be intertwined with like all these other different identities. Like you're not even gonna know who you are anymore. So, what can we do, right? Like, what can we do to shift this? What can we do to stop feeling this way, to make a change in our life, right? And transform. This is where our rituals come in. This is where our self growth and our transformation and our journey comes in, right? This is the fun part, besties. So, if you are here and if you've made it this far in the video, firstly, thank you. But also, you are self-aware. You're listening to this because, right, you're intrigued by growth. So if you're listening already, you've already tapped into the first step in your transformation, which is self-awareness. Take time to reflect where you've been displacing your energy, where you've been maybe placing your little eggs, in which baskets have you been placing your happiness. Right now, when I was like jotting down this episode, I was going to say get clear on who you want to be. But right now might not be the best time to get clear. Maybe these first beginning phases and steps might just be to begin and unbecome. So become self aware and unbecome all those identities and beliefs and ideas that you've kind of fit into, tried to people please or and kind of conform to. It's all about getting to know yourself again. Slowly, you will begin to undo and unwrap all the programming. The more you continue on this journey, the more firm you will start becoming in your boundaries and the more resilient you will become. So it's important to stay patient with yourselves because if you've kind of been in this cycle for a while, please stay patient with yourselves. One of the things that I said in the manifestation myths video that I posted recently is one of the manifestation myths is manifestation doesn't happen overnight. There are things that can manifest 1000% overnight, but sometimes the universe works in funny ways, and sometimes we don't receive things overnight. And sometimes we might receive them way sooner than we think. Sometimes we might receive them, we're like, what the hell? Why did this just get here? I manifested this like forever ago, and that's just how the universe works because it's all about when your energy is aligned with that manifestation. So, this is a great time to really cultivate mind body rituals. For me, this includes things like yoga, journaling, meditation, prayer, being active in nature. By working on your mindset and your identity, naturally, you're going to start cultivating this gratitude mindset because by you constantly doing these things and being self aware and meditating and doing your rituals, you're going to start getting really good at it. You're going to start getting really consistent. And when you start shifting into this gratitude mindset, this is when everything starts to unlock. It's like you're opening Pandora's box, bestie. And I promise you, gratitude is so underrated because I feel like a lot of people think that it's just like saying thank you, but it's not. It's an emotion, something that you're going to be able to harness. It's transformative. Continue practice mindfulness throughout your day. So not just during your meditations where you get to have a more big picture vision of what you do want to manifest, maybe a more big picture vision of where you've been misplacing your energy, but also being mindful throughout your day and being mindful with the decisions that you're making in the beginning might feel like a lot, but I promise you, just do the best you can every single day. Have those moments, and I promise you, it becomes easier. Because the more that you focus on yourself, the more that you focus on uncovering your identity, the more things get clearer. And right now, things might be kind of foggy and you might be like, I don't even know exactly what I want to manifest or what my purpose is, but it's foggy because you haven't tapped into that yet. it's foggy because you might be in that spiral or you might be in the neutral. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes we just have to revamp our energy. But the universe is here to support our dreams, the life and the feelings and the desires that we hold in our heart, besties. They are here and they exist. That reality exists. It's just about attracting it to us. It's going to naturally and effortlessly come to you once those frequencies are aligned. Besties, thank you so much for making it to the end of today's episode. If you haven't subscribed already and liked this video and leave a comment, I cannot wait to chat with you guys on next week's episodes. And if you're new here, don't go yet. I end each episode with 3 affirmations that you'll have for the week. I love and accept myself unconditionally. I am a unique and valuable person. I treat myself with kindness and compassion. Besties, thank you for tuning in again. I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to chat with you guys in next week's episode. Love ya. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of YNBFF. If you love what you heard, please support by following our podcast and leaving a stellar review. You can also follow my socials posted in the show notes. I am so excited to catch you in the next episode, and until then, stay feeling high, blessed, and divine, besties. Bye!